Let's take you now directly to Haridwar, where India's Olympians, our sporting heroes, our wrestlers are sitting by the ghats of the Ganga in Haridwar, waiting to immerse their medals into the waters of the river Ganga. For them, it's ashes to ashes, dust to dust. The river Ganga, considered the purest, of what they say is the purest to them. It is a testimony, their medals, of their career entirely, their years of hard work, pain that they have gone through, the sacrifices that not they, just their families have made. There are 2 Olympic medals in that. You have Bajrang Punia, who's a bronze medalist in Tokyo. You have Sakshi Malik, who was the first woman wrestler to ever get an Olympic medal, a bronze in Rio. Both the medals will be submitted to the river Ganga today. However, we are getting an understanding that the Ganga Samiti has forbidden them to immerse their medals into the waters of the Ganga. We're going to try and get an understanding with my colleague Anisha, who's right now there by the ghats. What you see on your television screen are our wrestlers carrying their medals with them in a box, holding them to their chest, breaking down. For anyone who's out there and who's saying that this is theatrics, this is drama, must understand of what a medal actually means, a podium finish actually means to a wrestler. It's their entire career in that one box. It's the trials, the tribulations, the sweat, the blood, the pain, the joy that they have felt. Their entire career today for them would be submitted, gone in a flash. The likes of Sakshi Malik would have hoped that a bronze medal that would have been carried out in legacy, she would have given it to her children. On the other hand, for India, these are medals which has made the country so very proud. Heartbreaking for the wrestlers, but abject heartbreak also for India, because it's us who've stood by them, clapping, cheering. They've made us proud, wrapped in the tricolour at the podium finish. To see them like this, would be painful in more ways than one. I want to connect right now to Nikhil Naz, who's joining us from the newsroom. Nikhil, if they are to go ahead, we're trying to get an understanding on why is it that there is a delay. I believe the Ganga Samiti has refused that these medals be submitted to the Ganga there, primarily for environmental purposes, I hear. But getting a confirmation on that. But if these medals are immersed in the river Ganga, Nikhil, this is their entire career in a box. Today, India will also, what they lose is aside right now. We'll talk about that later. But India will lose 2 bronze medals where Olympics is concerned.
Well, that's right, Preeti. I mean, it's when I look at these medals, and I'm going to talk to you as a sport fan and as someone who's covered sport, for the last 2 decades, it's a very rare sight for India to win an Olympic medal. I've been to a few Olympics, and then we know the years of hard work that these athletes put in, and there is an entire system that's at work, whether there are people behind the scenes, their coaches, their families, everyone. And I'm just talking as a sport fan. If these medals that we so desire as sports fan, or even as citizens of the country, as I mentioned, because it's a rare occurrence in the history of Indian sport that you end up winning an Olympic medal, if these medals were to be immersed in the river, I think that's going to be an emotional moment for plenty of fans across the country. Those that cheer these athletes, those that have waited for years, have tracked their progress from junior levels, moving on then to senior levels, and then to various competition, and then eventually that watershed moment they must have witnessed when they ended up standing on the podium of an Olympic game. All of that is going to go down the drain, quite literally, in that sense, Preeti. So it's going to be a personal loss. At least I speak for a lot of sports fans, we are all going to treat it as a personal loss. Having said that, can this situation have been avoided? I think steps could have been taken. I think there are both sides of the story. Maybe the wrestlers also needed to be a bit patient. They need to allow the law to take its own course. Having said that, I think some sort of a reach from the authorities, from the dispensation, would have gone a long way. I think that's what the wrestlers are looking for at the moment, some sort of an assurance. Otherwise, they wouldn't have taken a drastic step as they have taken, going over to the Ganga, almost ready to, immerse those medals that they worked so hard for. So I think this is a big moment in the history of Indian sport. I'm reminded, when we read or listen to sporting history, I'm reminded of the time Muhammad Ali, threw away his medal, his Olympic medal in the river. That after, he was fighting against racism in his own country, and that was a moment that completely changed not just American sport, but sport in general. Could this be that moment? Could possibly be. But that's, I mean, whatever said and done, whichever side of the story that you look at, and as I've been reiterating that I think you need to look at both sides of the story. This is a moment, or these, if in case they were to immerse those medals in the river, that is a sight that no sport fan or any Indian citizen in general would like to see.